Okay. Everyone can see that okay? Here we go. Perfect. All right. So welcome everybody tonight. My name is Renee Jenkinson. I have now been a part of the Amazing Partner Co company for 8 years. I can't believe it's been that long. And I have been, very, very interested in hormones for a very long time and decided to really put that interest into action and study hormones throughout 2019, 2020, and 2021. And so, for myself, it was all about helping my body to be able to get back to basics and to be able to work correctly. And throughout my own transformation, I've lost a total of 20 kilos now. I have learned so much about how our bodies work and really love to be able to break it down for people so that people can also understand what is happening and how can we get our bodies to press that reset button and get back into having a working hormone system. So I'm just going to pop through here. So tonight we're going to talk hormones, of course, and hormones are something that really honestly drive our system. If our hormones are out of balance, chances are we are struggling in many ways. I'm going to share some real results with you tonight as well, and also how you can get started on our very simple system, which we absolutely love. So the big question here is, are you struggling? Are you struggling at the moment? Is weight loss an issue for you? Are you struggling to sleep throughout the night? Is stress something that is playing on you each day, each week? Are you going through menopause, ladies, or hitting that age where menopause is about to creep up? Do you have some gut health issues, maybe some digestive issues, inflammation in the body? Do you have toxin buildup? Are you struggling for energy? Is your mood on a roller coaster ride with you? So all of these things come back to the basics of hormones. And when our hormones are out of balance, these are some of the symptoms that we can absolutely be really having to put up with on a day-to-day basis. But the good news is we don't have to do that. So I'm going to just talk tonight around a couple of different hormones. And as you can see here on my screen, we have cortisol at the top, and that is for a very good reason. The next hormone is our thyroid function, and then our food hormones, ghrelin and leptin. So, cortisol, for everyone who doesn't know, is our stress hormone. So, when we get stressed out, when stress comes into our lives, and that could be on a daily basis for most of us as humans, we actually spike our cortisol. And this is what's really causing a lot of issues in our body. So, when we have stress and cortisol spikes, that can actually push our body into what is called fight or flight response. Now, a lot of people are actually living in this response mode on a daily basis, which is really not good for our bodies in many ways. Just a fun fact, back in the day, right back in the day when we were primal, not us, but our ancestors, our primal ancestors were utilizing cortisol. It came in extremely handy because they were actually fending for their lives on a daily basis, hunting and gathering food. And when they got stress in their system, the brain got a response from that. And the brain actually then knew that they were in danger and it needed to act upon that. So that's where that fight or flight comes in. Now, our cortisol has not evolved over the years. So we are still utilizing cortisol in the same way, which means that when we get stressed out, our brains actually think that we are in danger, even when we're stressing about bills and kids and jobs and all the things that we have stress around in our lives today. Our brain is still back in that primal era. And so this actually affects our bodies in so many ways. Usually, the first way is sleep. So, because our brain is actually trying to keep us awake, our sleep pattern can be very disturbed. So for some people, you might want to go to sleep, but you are so tired, but your brain is very wired because your brain is in that response that it needs to stay awake. So you're struggling to fall asleep, and it's making it really hard for you to get a good night's sleep. The other side of the coin is that you might go to sleep okay, but you are actually waking up around 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. Again, your brain is kicked into that thought pattern mode and you are struggling to get back to sleep. Now, when we do have a good night's sleep, what happens is we go through a bit of a process overnight, and that's called rest and digest. So basically, what's supposed to happen is our brain's supposed to shut down, have a beautiful rest, and our body is supposed to wake up and do lots of different things. Number one, it is supposed to be digesting the food that we have had the day or the night before, depending on how slow our metabolism is. And that's something we're going to talk about as well. So if we're not getting a good solid minimum 7 hours sleep per night, chances are our body is not getting to go through that rest and digest process. Now, if we're not digesting that food that we're eating, the night before, then number one, we're not metabolizing it. So normally we're actually burning through our food as we sleep. We're metabolizing that food. If we're not sleeping well, we are not actually getting to go through that process. So we're holding on to food overnight. Now, that can really upset not only our digestive tract, of course, but also our gut health as well. Because you can imagine if you're not digesting that food and it's not metabolizing, then it's actually going to be turning into fat. So we're actually putting on weight when we sleep. And if you're somebody who uses the scale on a daily basis, you will probably find that you're waking up heavier. And this could be due to a number of reasons, but also that undigested food, and it's going straight to our fat stores. Now, our gut is very responsible for not only our immune system, but also our mental health. And many people know this. 80% of our immune system lives in our gut. So if we have an unhealthy gut due to a poor digestive system, chances are you could be picking up bugs, you could be, picking up the colds, having some allergy issues as well on top of all of this. Not only that, but we also have what's called the gut-brain axis. So that means that if our gut's not healthy, our brain is probably not healthy as well, and that is our mental health. So you could be experiencing things like anxiety, depression, overthinking, brain fog, all of the horrible things, because basically you're not sleeping well. And this is what is, the response from that. So the other side of high cortisol for most people is usually sitting around your midsection. If you find that you hold your weight in your midsection, in your tummy area, chances are that is because of the cortisol, the excess cortisol in your system. So we have two different types of fat on our body. We have visceral fat and we have a subcutaneous fat. Now, the subcutaneous fat is the fat that we can feel, we can jiggle it, we can see it. The visceral fat is actually the dangerous fat that sits below our muscle on top of our organs and usually resides around our midsection. For women, it can spread down into our bottom and our thighs. So that is where you'd be holding most of your weight. And this is not a shape issue, it's actually a cortisol issue. So if you can, number one, lower your cortisol, you are going to be able to repair all of the issues that I've just spoken about. Now, on the screen here, we have the beautiful Jenna. Jenna is actually an ex-police officer and had a lot of stress in her life. And as you can see, she has lost a total of 17 kilos by lowering her cortisol with our amazing drop system. So I'm going to talk about metabolism, and this actually comes from our thyroid function. So basically, if we have high cortisol in the body, chances are we're going to upset our thyroid. cortisol is actually really linked, very closely linked to our thyroid function. And that means that if we have high cortisol in the body, chances are our thyroid is probably not functioning at its best. Now, when we have thyroid issues, hand in hand comes metabolism issues as well, which means that we are not metabolizing the food that we eat correctly. I'm going to go down a quick timeline here just to give everyone a bit of insight into something that I've been studying for the past couple of months, and it's mind-blowing, really. So basically, if you have a poor thyroid function, that means that you may have a broken metabolism and you're not metabolizing that food that you're eating. The next step down the timeline from this is actually very closely linked to our insulin. So with insulin, it's very easy to become insulin resistant when we don't have a good metabolism, and they're very closely linked. If we become insulin resistant, what happens is when we eat a meal, instead of being able to transfer the sugar from that meal into glycogen and pushing that into the blood cell for energy, our body is actually just keeps pushing insulin as hard as it can to try and get that to happen. But it's like there's a lock on the door and we can't get it in. So then we start to store those calories as fat. So no matter even if you are eating really well, you're in a calorie deficit, you're exercising, if things aren't happening for you, it's potentially because you're insulin resistant and you've just turned into a fat storage system. Now, if you are insulin resistant, this means that you've lost your energy source. And what happens from that is basically the fact that when you eat, you're not getting energy from your food. Our bodies are very smart and it knows that process is broken. So instead of our bodies wanting to go into our fat stores and take the energy from there because it wants to store that for later, it wants to keep that safe, it will start to send you cravings for things like sugar, salt, high processed food so that you can get that quick fix of energy. Now, if you succumb to these cravings over and over again, not only are you spiking more insulin and having more insulin go through your body, transferring that into what could be type 2 diabetes down the track, but you're also actually eating all these bad foods, and sugar is the most highly addictive substance on the planet. So if you keep succumbing to these cravings to get that energy boost, chances are you're going to actually end up being addicted to sugar. And this is one of the hardest things that we can reverse without assistance. This will affect our nutrient absorption, all right, as well as becoming a fat storage system. So again, going back to cortisol, we need to lower our cortisol. We need to help our thyroid to function better to improve our metabolism. And also, if we are insulin resistant or heading that way, we can easily reverse that with the right tools. So on my screen right now, I have the beautiful Silvana. This is actually Jenna from the last screen's mum. She started on the drops first, had an amazing testimony. She lost a total of 26 kilos, and you can see how amazing she looks. She looks 10 years younger. And that's when Jenna decided to jump on board as well. So they've both had their own amazing transformation. Now, these pesky hormones are our hunger hormones, ghrelin and leptin. And for most part, a lot of people struggle to eat the right foods and to stay on track with what they're eating. Now, most people put this down to, the way that they manage their hunger, as in having, the cravings happening, things like that. But what's really happening is our ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone, is actually can go out of balance very easily when other hormones aren't working correctly. So basically what can happen is ghrelin can go into overdrive or just be completely dysregulated. And that looks like people really thinking about food more often than they should be. And also having a dysregulated ghrelin means that it could be one day you're eating nothing and you're not hungry. You might have something to eat in the afternoon. You open that floodgate and then you are looking for more and more food to eat. So it's really something that is really dysregulated, and it's not a set time that you're eating each day. So if you're all over the place with your food, this could be why. Now, our leptin hormone is our satiety hormone. And basically, what happens when we eat is ghrelin ramps up to let us know that we need some fuel. We have the fuel, and then leptin comes over the top of ghrelin, giving us that satiety feeling, leaving us feeling happy and satisfied, and knowing that we can put the food away and leave it for at least 4 to 5 hours, which is the time that we should be giving in between when we're opening our mouth and putting food in. Now, as I said, these two hormones can very easily go out of balance and can make it really hard for people who want to be on a weight loss journey to even think about it when food is such an important role in their life. And it's not always a mindset thing. It's not always, having no willpower. It's actually can be a hormonal imbalance. Once you balance your hunger hormones, your ghrelin and your leptin, what you'll notice is that you're only eating when you feel the need to, and not eating all the time. And when you actually do eat, you feel completely satisfied and you know that you can put that food away and forget about it. Leptin is actually produced in our fat cells. So if we have put on a little bit of weight or even more than a little bit of weight, we produce more and more leptin. Then what happens with leptin is we actually develop a resistance to it. So same as the insulin. And that means it's basically left the building. And so we really need to bring leptin back into play so that we can actually have our body, our hunger hormone and that satiety hormone working hand in hand. And we only eat when we need to, and we always feel good afterwards. So once we get these hormones balanced, we can really change the game. And this is why we absolutely love our drops system. So everything that I have spoken about here tonight, the drops actually target. So number one, they're going to target the cortisol level. And just by doing that, you're going to improve your stress. You're going to improve your sleep pattern. You're going to improve your digestive system, your immune system, and also that gut-brain axis. So your mental health can be improved with these as well. You're going to help your thyroid to function better. There's some amazing ingredients in these drops to help your thyroid to be at its best. You are going to then boost your metabolism and reverse any sort of insulin resistance that you may have or leading into that. If you are a type 2 diabetic or you know someone that is already there, these drops would be an absolute game changer for them. So there's some really great ingredients in the drops that help in the interim. So when we get started, that is when we usually need the most help. But there's also ingredients in the drops that as we take them over time, they're helping long term. So these are not something that you have to live on for the rest of your life to be able to get the benefits from them. Once you actually get your hormones balanced, and you reach your goal, if it's a weight loss goal, then you stick with them until you get to that weight loss goal. If it is just a hormone balance that you're looking for, we recommend a very minimum of 4 months on the drops. So you can see down the bottom here, every picture that we put up, we know these people personally. So we've got the beautiful Lucy who has lost 20 kilos using the drops. She looks phenomenal. We've got Sonia who has lost 12 kilos using the drops. In the middle, we've got a doctor here, Dr. Crystal Vance, who has lost over 50 kilos now using our drops. Nova, 26 kilos down, and Joe on the end, 50, I think she's nearly at 70 kilos. I went to say 50, but I remember now it's 70 kilos she's lost on the drops. So as you can see, we've got mostly women on the screen. However, these drops are amazing for both men and women. Now, men tend to get a faster result because their hormones are not as complex as women's, which means that they will see that stress being reduced and usually that tummy. Men carry most of their weight normally in the front, and that is because they stress. So when you reduce that stress, that cortisol, that's when their belly will continue to go down. So these drops are made for everybody. They are completely 100% safe to take alongside any medication that you may be on, and they will not interfere at all. These have been around for many years now, and have been trialed and tested alongside so many different medications, and not once have we ever come back with any sort of contradiction. So we know that we can completely take these safely and still get these amazing benefits. Oops, sorry.
Good morning, my name's Pauline. Using these drops, I've lost 30 kgs. I have more energy, I sleep better, my skin's clearer, and obviously the weight loss is just amazing. Love, love, love these. They've literally changed my life.
I love that from Pauline. I'm not sure if she's on here tonight, but thanks for sharing, Pauline. I want you to take a look at Pauline's scan. Now, this scan here is something that we offer everyone to have a go of. It's a free app, and I want you to look at Pauline's midsection, because when I'm talking about the cortisol belly, you can see here in Pauline that she has completely changed shape. And this is what I love about the drops. I myself had a 20-kilo weight loss journey with these products. I actually didn't realize I had a shape until I had my weight loss. I actually thought that I was an apple shape and that all of my weight, or however I looked, would always just be, my tummy would be larger than everything else. But since losing 20 kilos, I can tell you now that I lost most of that weight from my stomach, my hips, and my bottom. So I can totally say that by reducing cortisol, you can actually change your shape immensely, which is really exciting for a lot of people. So I just wanted to touch on our drop system here, because I know we've got some people in all different countries on tonight. So I just wanted to go through and explain. We have 3 different formulas, all the same amazing benefits. We have to fit in with certain regulations in each country. So we make sure that we always have the exact ingredients that are needed in order to get the same benefits worldwide. So the first set of drops here you'll see at the moment is the USA version, and can be sold in other Asia countries as well. Then in the middle there, we have our day-night drops, which is we have here in Australia, New Zealand, and a few other countries as well, coming to Canada very, very soon, which is very exciting. And on the end here is our newest formulation. Now, we know that this has just had a pre-launch in Singapore, already available in Japan. So pre-launch in Singapore has just happened. We're hopefully getting some more stock in Singapore very soon. So this is the actual same formulation as the day and night drops, the one in the middle. It's in a different packaging. It's a one-time use. So you would have a sachet for your day and a sachet for your night. And you would get obviously the right doses for that as well. So whatever country you're in, just know they may look a little different wherever you're ordering, but you are getting the same benefits all across the board. So all you need to do, if you have any questions, reach out to the person that invited you onto the call tonight. They will be able to help you to, look at the options around our amazing drop system. Whether you want to come in as a customer, whether you want to join us here at Partner Co and not only help yourself, but help others at the same time, we have plenty of options available for you to be able to join us or just to purchase online. If anyone has any questions at all on anything that I've asked, that I've spoken about tonight, please feel free to unmute yourself and I will be able to answer anything that you have right now. So happy to share. Just let me know if you have any questions. If not, hopefully this has been really helpful for you tonight and sort of, really helped you to understand your body a little better. And looking forward to, helping you get started on your journey if you choose to. And like I said, happy to answer any questions that we have. So unmute if you want to ask a question, or you can use the chat box below as well. Lisa. James, you want me to share Lisa's story?
Yeah, or can Lisa share your story? I like her story. Very inspiring.
Lisa Thorpe, would you like Would you like to, James wants to hear from you, and we all love hearing from you. I wish I had your picture up tonight, actually, but
Where was my picture? Oh,
I, I promise next time we will see it. Now, Lisa, before we start asking you some questions, how many kilos did you lose in total?
25 kilos.
25 kilos. And I know you started because your beautiful daughter needed help. So you thought you'd try the product first to make sure it wasn't a gimmick, see how
Yep,
you went, and then see if your daughter wanted to get started. So
correct.
you started, and at that time, how was everything going before the drops came in for you?
Well, as you described, my cravings, I was definitely had cortisol problems. I definitely was overeating, but my main problem was that I had massive cravings for sugar, and I was using sugar as a crutch. And I obviously, just listening to you tonight, um, my metabolism wasn't working, so I wasn't getting any energy from the food that I was eating. So I was constantly craving more and more sugar to sort of prop me up. And I was scared to not have sugar. That's how bad I was. Yeah.
Yeah, so it became an addiction. And
Yeah.
oh, there you
100%.
go. Thanks,
Oh,
Jane.
look at that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And so you started, you've helped yourself, obviously. You've lost an amazing amount of weight. And then your beautiful daughter, James, have you got Jasmine's picture there as well? Your beautiful daughter,
okay.
Jasmine, seen what was happening with you and said, "What are you doing? And why aren't you sharing?" And so then she got started. Now I know she had thyroid issues, which I've spoken about tonight.
Yep.
She has Hashimoto's, right?
Yeah, she did. Yep. She doesn't now.
Exactly. And we can't
Mm.
make medical claims, but that
Uh,
is the
but
only,
all I know is all I
yeah,
know is what I can witness
yeah,
myself. And
yeah,
she has nothing like that at all. So yeah, she originally, I was very, very concerned about her. So that's why I went looking for something. And she she was having probably every second day she was crashing. And what I mean by crashing was she couldn't make it through a day without having to have a sleep. And she was only 38 at the time. And she just was a mess. She was emotionally a mess, and she just felt absolutely rotten in herself. And she had whacked on a massive amount of weight, and she's much shorter than me. And yeah, she just felt absolutely dreadful.
yeah. Okay. And she's gone on to lose how much?
40 kilos.
40 kilos, and she's reversed her Hashimoto's.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And I know I just had a couple of people asking questions in the chat, and they're asking how long does it take, and someone's been on them for a month. I know when Jasmine started her first month,
Yeah.
it wasn't all roses for her in the start. It
No.
took a little while for it to kick in.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that we did not get to where we are in a month's time, in 2 months' time, in 3 months' time. This is undoing a lot of damage that has actually compiled over years and years. And I'm not saying it's going to take that long to repair, but we have
Mhm.
to be, mindful that number one, when we first start to take the drops, not everybody will see weight loss in the first month. It's not a gimmick. We're not promising X amount of weight in X amount of time because that's not how the body works. Everyone has different levels of cortisol, different levels of thyroid imbalance, and we have to know that the drops have to go in and do some work internally before we can see the external things happening. So,
Yep.
what people will notice in the start is things like improved sleep, extra energy, probably feeling a little calmer, having better choices around our food. But just know that this is just the start, and this is a product that we take for a while. It's not a 30-day thing. Nothing works like that. We need to be committed to these drops, just like Jasmine and Lisa were, and stick with them for, as I said, a very minimum of 4 months if no weight loss is required. or if there is weight loss required, stay with them until you get to that goal, because then we know you actually in a healthy BMI and you're making better food choices, and your hormones would be at a place that they will be able to then run on their own without the help of these drops. So some people choose to stay on the drops because of how they feel. And this is just personal choice, totally up to you how you do it. So hopefully that's answered the questions in the chat. Is there any other questions popping up? No one else? Okay.
I have a question, if you
Yeah,
can.
sure.
Yes. I think the drops are amazing. I've been using them for almost 2 months. Actually, I think a couple months already, and I've lost maybe 10, 12 pounds. I'm not weighing myself. I'm just using clothes. But I'm a health biohacker, and one of the things that I'm really wary about is GLP-1 and Ozempic. And you see a lot of people losing weight, and I feel in fact that my own mentor is using GLP-1 to lose weight. And I don't believe in that product at all. And my thing with the drops is that I hope this isn't GLP-1. What can we, or if you've heard of Ozempic, so what can we, that's a concern of so many people now. And how can we kind of prove that it isn't?
It's definitely not a GLP-1. You only have to look in the ingredients to see that everything that inside our drops is 100% food-based herbal supplement. So we are a 100% natural company. Every product that we manufacture goes through very stringent testing, and we only provide you with herbal natural ingredients. So the difference with what we have to the medication that you're speaking about, and I've done a lot of extensive research myself on these medications, those medications are an actual band-aid for the symptoms. Yeah. So people are going and getting these, and it's actually not repairing the body in any way, shape, or form. What the drops do that are next level to any medication is actually go in and go back to the root cause. The medications do not go back to the root cause of why are you insulin resistant now? Why is your thyroid hormone not working correctly? It just masks those symptoms. And when you stop taking that medication, those people are going to go right back where they started. Not straight away, but eventually. There's some really scary side effects that I've been studying up on with those medications. And it's actually the big C word, cancer, is involved in those studies that I've seen. So things like stomach paralysis, cancer are being thrown around. I know for a fact that what we have in our drops is targeting the root cause. And when I say root cause, I am going to go back to cortisol every single time, because stress is what creates the problem in the body to start with. Whether it's a thyroid problem, an insulin problem, it all stems from cortisol. So our drops are designed to lower cortisol, and in turn, then the rest of our body starts to be able to work better. And that is why we're getting amazing results without any GLP-1. Absolutely.
So thank you. Yeah, and I feel that. I feel it. I mean, I feel it. It's natural. And if at the moment that I don't feel that it's not natural, I would have stopped it. But I'm still on it, and I love it. So thank you. Thank you for answering.
No problem at all. Happy to help. Anyone else have any questions? Let me just check the chat, make sure I haven't.
Yeah, that's a check question by Phyllis.
Yeah, okay. So when we stop taking the drops after losing weight, will we regain the weight loss? And Abir said the right thing. No, you won't, because your hormones are balanced, right? So once we actually get the body to get back into some form of doing the job it's designed to do, we no longer need to live on the drops. So I did say that at the start, maybe you came in a little late. However, the drops are there to assist the body I like to say it's pressing the reset button. Let's start again. Let's go back and start again. So when you reduce your cortisol, again, then your thyroid is able to function better. Your metabolism is able to function better. So you're actually going to help repair and reset those hormones back to factory settings. So once you reach your weight loss, you will no longer need them. When I personally started with the drops, I said I had a 20 kilo weight loss. I took them for around 8 months. I didn't need them for the full 8 months, but I was too scared to stop them because I was like, what is going to happen? And I eventually thought, this is silly. I need to actually just give this a go and make sure I can trust what I'm saying to people. So I went off the drops. I still take supplements. I'm still, eating really healthy. And I have done extremely well. My weight loss was almost 6 years ago now. So I have maintained that. What I do is I now do a reset every 6 months. So I take the drops for a month and then I stop them again. 6 months' time, I take them for a month. And the reason I do that is just to make sure that I am keeping my hormones in check and I'm not letting them rebound back the wrong way. If I have a lot of stress in my life, the first thing I reach for is my drops because I know that that is going to help my cortisol levels. And I know if I let that go, I know it's going to come after it. So I use them when I need them now, but I definitely don't live on them. Yeah, 28 days. Thanks, Sylvia. Any other questions? No? All right. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. Really appreciate your time. And if you have any questions, please go back to the person that invited you here tonight. And if you have questions for me, they can always get in touch with me as well, and I'm happy to help. So we all work as one big team here, which is what we're all about. So happy to help. Thank you so much, everyone, and see you next time.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Renee.
Renee.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Ren
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank
Bye.
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Renee will be having Singapore around 8, so that will be 11 your time.
Yeah. See you
All right.
then. See you soon.
See ya.